look down while putting up their hands, admitting that they have no idea how to put their company value into words or how to articulate why businesses should do business with them rather than going to their competition. So it's actually a common problem that we see in the line of work that we do. And it's one of the fundamental starting points of any great CX strategy. It's about how you can sell something, or how to understand the value of the service or product is adding to the lives of your clients or customers. So in other words, sort of briefly is, why should I do business with me, or why should I do business with a company that I work for? So really articulating that sort of value proposition. And to help shine some light on this issue, I'm joined by an industry colleague who was also a guest speaker at our last masterclass in March. He's a global CX thought leader, specialist, Craig Lee, who's worked for some of the world's top brands, which I can rattle off. It'll take us a few minutes, Craig, to tell those that are watching who you've worked for. But basically, companies like Emirates in retail, luxury, companies like Versace, Bulgari, Hermes. In banking, companies like HSBC, etc., etc. So really esteemed specialist in CX and all things global. So welcome and thanks, Craig, for joining me today.
Nats, and thank you for the glowing introduction. I'm a bit humbled by that.
Well, it's true. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, you're here today to really help me unpack the issue around value. So the first kind of question that I want to sort of chat about is, in your opinion, what is value?
So value is the worth or the importance or the usefulness of something to an individual or a group of people. And it's often measured in terms of the benefits that are gained or the sacrifices that are made. And that might sound a bit weird, but when you pay a traffic fine, the value of that is not going to jail. So sometimes there's sacrifices, but in other times it's really around, is this worth something to you? Is this specific service, approach, piece important to you? Is it useful to you to have it or not have it? So value is a complex term, basically because we all have a different view of it. And what is valuable to you may not be valued by me.
Correct.
And this is why it's so important that companies really grasp this idea of value. And I think it's more complex for some companies because they've also got to think about their employees, what's valuable to the board, what's valuable to their clients, what's valuable to their suppliers. And those things are also different. So yeah, we can have a chat around that.
So why do you think, Craig, the ability to define your company's value, why in your mind do you think it's so important?
Well, I think it's important in two respects, and it's depending on which side of the glass you're sitting. And I use that because we have an inside world in our business ecosystem, and that's how everything hangs together, how everybody works together, how the board works, how our employees work, how your supply chain works. And a lot of that is the internal perspective of adding value to the business. And that's often done in terms of how you generate revenue or what your profit margins are, or what your return on investment is, and what your long-term customer relationships are like, or the loyalty people have to you, or what market share you have. But when you're sitting on the other side of the glass looking in, your value is not attached to how profitable the company is or how well it functions. your values attached to, is this service that I'm getting or is this product that I'm buying worth it? And it doesn't mean to say it needs to be inexpensive. Is it important to me? And am I important to it? And is this useful to me? Or can I get it in an easier way down the road? So I think when you are inside a company, it's very easy to define value in terms of what your profit share needs to be, what ROI you're chasing, etc. But are you conscious of what value you're delivering to your clients? Do you even understand, do you even know what they value from you? And if I can put that as a quick example, you, in a South African context, you might be buying from Spar, Woolworths, or Checkers, not because one product is better than the other, but just because it's closer to your house, or they deliver faster than somebody else. So the value for you is speed of delivery or ease of use. Whereas other times you'll be making a quality purchase and you'll say, no, it eradicates two of those three brands because I only want to buy from that brand because it's quality what I need today, not convenience.
Okay, so leads on to my next question, Craig. So how can companies, how can they better define their value?
They should move away from their value proposition because that's their inside out view. We do this for those people in this way. That sort of defines the DNA of how they would deliver and how they think they'll make money from doing it that way. So if they really want to understand what value they deliver, they've really got to do a fair amount of research. They've got to ask customers regularly, why do you do business with us? Sometimes it's a person. It's got nothing to do with what you're selling. It's got nothing to do with your products. It's got to do with
the individuals. Yeah.
So when a company's starting to think about what it is and how it delivers value, it really needs to think is three things. It needs to think, what is valuable to a certain group of people who consume your product or service? What is valued by them? And how does that create value? And that might sound complex, but it's not really. When you think about it, what is really valuable for me is walking into a store that I go to regularly, where they know what I want, they get it for me very quickly, and I can leave and pay with ease. That's hugely valuable to me because time is a huge value equation for me. Anybody who can make things easier for me, in other words, the usefulness of something is easier, wins big brownie points. And I'll go back there just because they have understood that saving me time is the most valuable for me. Whereas for somebody else, it might be the efficiency and convenience. Are you easy to get to? Are you easy to find on the web? Are you easy to contact? Are you easy to contact when things go wrong? I'm still so surprised that any complaints or any way of contacting companies is so hidden these days.
Don't even get me started on that.
Crazy. And then you've got to jump different channels. None of the channels work. You know what it's like. That's what gives you business. So back to the idea of what is valuable to me might not be the same thing that is valuable to somebody else, even though it's the same product we're using. So companies really need to understand that. Understand why I'm buying from them and what I value most in buying from them. And invariably, it's nothing to do with their product.
Yeah. So would you say one of the first things when developing a CX strategy that really will, A, be sustainable, and B, really make a difference to your customers so that they buy more and that they remain loyal, would be looking at why should people do business with us? What makes us valued in our customers' eyes.
Yeah. And so often in marketing terms, we start with what differentiates us from our competitor. That's sort of important, but with so much parity in product, it's really only the experience we deliver across any specific channel, and preferably across all channels, that gives us that difference. Because the products are the products, and in most cases, largely the same. So for me to find value in doing business with you, there's got to be something else, something over and above that. And it's not that we're fantastic or we're different or, we are this. It's you give me value either through personalizing things more, or through being efficient and convenient, or by valuing my time. Those are the things that create an emotional connection for me with your brand. And, your shopping environment can be beautiful. And we've all walked into high-end luxury stores where we actually feel like aliens. I'd rather go down the road to somebody who calls me by my name, who genuinely appreciates my business and who is attentive. So value for me starts with that.
Thanks, Craig. Awesome insights.